County Sheriff Ken Matlack. Ken.
Thank you and good afternoon. Because it's so close to July 4th, I wanted to give you some comments on this sheriff's perspective on concealed handgun licenses and a few other, I guess, patriotic issues that I wanted to remind us about. April 1775, thank you. The British were marching on Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts. What were they marching there for on that particular day? They were after the control of the people, the rebels. They really weren't called Americans then, they were called British citizens. And what were they after? They were after their powder, extra rifles, ball ammunition, for the purposes of preventing the British rule that was coming down their neck. These were not makeshift army. They weren't militiamen. They were trained soldiers, the best that England had at the time, the strongest country in the world, coming to America to deal with rebels. On that particular day, they had 700 in their group. They met 75 in Lexington, on the Lexington Green. Shooting occurred. Nobody knows who shot first. Several were killed on the American side, one only wounded on the English side. They made it all the way to Concord. They destroyed 3 cannon and then found that the Americans had removed all the weapons, so they were unsuccessful. And in Concord, where's what they call the shot that was heard around the world, 2,000 militiamen, the first of the whole war, turned out. There were many English that were killed and a few Americans. That was really the first time that we won anything in that particular situation. In the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the next year, 1776, were these words: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What exactly does that mean to us? First of all, I can tell you, none of them are rights that the government gives us. None. Zero. Those are called natural laws. They can't be taken away from us, and they can't be transferred. And the government cannot do anything with that. And they were very quick to point that out in our Declaration of Independence. 1789, that's barely 12 years later. Now the Founding Fathers are drafting another measure, the Constitution. They needed 9 of 13 states to have it ratified, and they weren't getting it. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to happen until the states said, we want guarantees that you are not, the new government, our own government, is not going to be like England. We don't want abuses. We don't want overreach. Does that sound familiar? They didn't want that, and they would not sign, they would not ratify until they were guaranteed. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Now those have been in effect now for 239 years, and I believe they are really the things that have made us free for those 239 years. Because the Constitution Declaration, while they're old, they're as relevant today as they were then. They're not documents that we change lightly. Another point that I wanted to just tell you kind of where this sheriff comes from is on the Second Amendment and Oregon's CHL license process. For those of you that don't already have one, and I would encourage you to get one, a CHL license, unless if you move to Arizona, then it won't cost you anything because it's free there. 21, can't be a felon, no misdemeanor crimes, no domestic violence, no stalking, and no mental disease and defect. Can't have that. You must be a resident of the county. If not a resident, you must own property. If you don't own property, you must have a business interest in the county. Or the last thing, which no one ever uses, is called other demonstrated need. What's another demonstrated need a person might need a concealed handgun license for? To protect yourself, your family, and other people. I believe in that concept. I give license for that concept. And I definitely don't want it to go away. Here's how we can make it better. I also believe that Oregon, we don't recognize other states' CHLs in Oregon. None. No in Oregon, none in Washington, Nevada, California, any of our contiguous states, none. They won't honor them. We need to have reciprocity agreements with all these states, or better yet, right now in DC, there are a couple different bills going through that basically says there's a national reciprocity so that every state can recognize each other state and county's licenses. And I certainly support that. And I'll close you today with what the sheriff is. God bless sheriffs. Sheriffs are the people's representative. Here's what the Oregon statute says. The sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer of the county and the conservator of the peace. Now, basically what that means, after he takes his oath, is that not only does he protect people and their property, but he should be taking care of the people's rights, their constitutional rights, the ones that are listed in our Constitution and the ideas in the Declaration of Independence. Not an old document. We need to accept it as written today, just like it was then. God bless America. Thank you very much.